Hey guys, my name's Brainbean. Thanks for joining me once again. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Razer Ornata Chroma. Now, after some shipping delays, the keyboard is finally here, and I'm really excited to be bringing you a review. I'm also excited to announce that I'm going to be giving one of these keyboards away to one of my subscribers. We'll have more info on that at the end of the video. The Razer Ornata keyboard is a 16.8 million color RGB per key backlit keyboard. It uses Razer's Synapse 2.0 software and gives you all the same preset lighting effects that you can expect with the Razer Blackwidow or the Blackwidow X. And it also gives you the same chroma configurator so you can make your own lighting profiles. Now, one thing that is unique to the Razer Ornata Chroma is a new exclusive lighting effect that's simply just called Fire. Now, it's a pretty nice looking lighting effect, and it gives the keyboard the look that it's got a fire smoldering inside the keyboard. And I think it's really especially nice that this keyboard's coming out around the holiday season, where you just want to grab a cup of cocoa, put your keyboard on fire mode for a nice ambient experience, and then get in game and just start whooping some ass. The overall construction of the Razer Ornata is pretty good. Now, I would have liked to seen some more premium materials used in this keyboard because unfortunately it is completely made out of plastic. But on the flip side of that, when I was mashing down on the keys as hard as I could, the keyboard didn't really offer any flex. Now, when I picked the keyboard up off the desk and really cranked down on it, it did flex just a little bit, but that is less than I've seen most membrane style keyboards like this flex. And looking at the design of the keyboard, it looks like they borrowed a little bit from what they changed on the Blackwidow X. If you look on the underside, they still have the cable management routing system underneath the keyboard, as well as some rubberized pads and rubberized foot pads that you can flip up if you want to adjust the angle of the keyboard. Now, flipping the keyboard over to where you will find the caps lock and num lock indicators, they have indicators there for caps, num lock, scroll lock, as well as one for macro and for when you're in gaming mode. Now, the thing I like about these is they're nice and clear and distinct. And that's one thing I really don't like about the Blackwidow. And so I'm really glad that they stuck the changes from the Blackwidow X and having clear indicators there. So that's a big plus for me on the keyboard. Now, one of the most exciting things about the Ornata when we got a sneak peek was that it had a magnetic attachable wrist rest. After using the wrist rest for a while, I will say that it's fairly comfortable and it is pretty sizable, so that's a good plus. However, the magnets on the wrist rest really don't secure to the keyboard very well. And in fact, when you pick the keyboard up off the desk by the keyboard portion, the wrist rest will just fall right off. It doesn't stick to the keyboard very well at all. Now, during normal use, I don't see this being that big of an issue, especially because a lot of us use wrist rests that aren't even attached to the keyboard anyway, so it's not that big of a deal, but I would have liked to have seen some stronger magnets to really accentuate the feature and make it look like something that's more of a premium feature on the keyboard and not just something that they thought would be cool to add. Now, the keys on the Razer Ornata are mid-height keys, and this is something that compares to what you might find on an older style laptop. Not quite so much a chiclet style, but they're definitely a lot thinner than your normal keys. The font on the keycaps is nice and clean and simple, and that was something I really liked that they changed on the Blackwidow X, so I'm happy to see that they're still keeping those changes with the Razer Ornata. Now, when we talked about the backlighting, one thing I really like about this keyboard is because it is a membrane keyboard, you don't run into any lighting problems like you do with a mechanical when having to work around that stem that goes through the keys. And that's something that I didn't really like about the Blackwidow or the Blackwidow X, but on the Ornata, they do have all of the secondary functions on the keyboard illuminated, and it looks really sharp. Now, to help accentuate the RGB LEDs in this keyboard, very similar to what you'll find with the white backplate on the Razer Blackwidow, Razer went with a white plastic material underneath the keycaps and the membrane mechanism part of the board to help make those LEDs pop a little bit more. Okay, so let's talk about the mecha membrane key, the one thing everybody interested in this keyboard wants to know about. So when I first heard of this feature, the one thing I thought of was going back to when we were little kids and you'd clip a baseball card to your bicycle so it hits the spokes and you sound like a motorcycle going down the street. That was exactly what I was comparing this to. It's going to look and sound like the real thing, but how is it going to perform compared to a real mechanical keyboard? So when you're using this key, you do feel an actual tactile bump. Now, they worked a little bit of a bump into the actual mechanism on the membrane keyboard, as well as a little bit of like a metal buckle inside the membrane area where when you press down that key, it's going to hit it and make that audible click. Now, the click sounds like quiet greens, but there's not any of the clack when you bottom out the keyboard. So I would compare it very closely to a little bit quieter Razer green switch with very squishy O-rings on it. And it was actually really nice to type on, and I quite like it. And I think this is something that I would recommend for people who have family members that they don't want to disturb, and they like the click, but maybe they're not necessarily someone that needs a mechanical keyboard. Or if you're somebody that likes the click as well and you want something for the office or something that's not as expensive, you don't want it to be, stolen when you're at work, this is something that's good for that. Now, of course, as is customary on the channel, I wouldn't leave you guys without a sound test. So here's a quick sound test of the mecha membrane keys in the Razer Ornata. So overall, there were some things that impressed me about the Razer Ornata. The mecha membrane keys definitely performed better than I thought they would. Now, did they feel like a real mechanical switch? I wouldn't go that far as to say that they do, but I do think that it is a leaps and bounds improvement in the user experience over using a regular membrane keyboard. And the LEDs are very bright and vibrant, giving very deep colors, much like Razer's other Chroma keyboards. So going on to some of the negatives, I feel like the magnets in the wrist rest is something that they either didn't need to do and they could have just added clips to fasten it to the keyboard, or if they really wanted to go with that feature, the magnets need to be a lot more powerful. Now, having the wrist rest pop off when you move it around doesn't really hurt your actual user experience, but I think if this is a feature they really want to hype up, then they need to have much better quality magnets. I also would have really liked to have seen a USB pass-through and even an audio pass-through in this keyboard, and I feel like if they had done that, it would have made this keyboard stand leaps and bounds ahead of any other membrane competitor on the market. Now, another thing that's kind of borderline negative for me is the price. Now, this keyboard's $100, so for an extra $30 to $50 depending on manufacturer and switch choice, you can get a really nice quality RGB mechanical keyboard. So it's something you'll have to figure out, is it worth it for you or not? Now, I think if they had gone with the price of the non-Chroma version at $80, then this keyboard would definitely be an amazing value. Well, that's it for the video, guys. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'll be giving one of these Razer Ornata Chroma keyboards away to one of my subscribers. Now, all you have to do to be eligible for the giveaway is after you've liked this video, leave me a comment down in the comments below, letting me know what you think about the mecha membrane keys or about the Razer Ornata Chroma in general. I'll be announcing the winner on Twitter in a couple of weeks, as well as in my next update video. So be sure to follow me on Twitter at BrainBeanGaming, and if you like this video and you want to support the channel, you can find my Amazon affiliate link located down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.